No need to mute the mics, right? Welcome, everyone, to Southern Virginia University Men's Lacrosse. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined today by Seth Hansen here at the fields at Southern Virginia University as we get ready to bring you Southern Virginia University Knights Men's Lacrosse action. First home game for the 2017 season for the men's lacrosse team as they are coming off a great opening victory last Saturday on the road at Marymount, winning 16-14 in their 2017 opener against Marymount, first ever victory against Marymount. And so, Seth, now the Knights look forward to taking on the Guilford Quakers out of the ODAC today in their first home game of this 2017 season.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. It's going to be a good test, I think, for the Southern Virginia Knights today as they look to build on that first win and keep their streak going.
And as far as the weather conditions are concerned, always a little windier up here on the hill at the fields at Southern Virginia University. We've had rain off and on, but looks like the weather conditions are improving here for game time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, as an athlete who's played up here at the fields, I generally love this kind of weather versus the hot sun, so it should be a good one. Guys will stay cool. They should be able to stay fresh and hydrated, and really, really good day to be a lacrosse fan, a good day to watch a good game of lacrosse.
And the Knights again winning that home opener, or season opener, 16-14 against Marymount last Saturday on the road at Marymount. A game where they were led by Casey Rich and Sean Lamb. Each had 4 goals. Ryan Larson and also Brady Cook had 3 goals. Knights, of course, are losing a couple of players from last year's team. Last year's team went 6-10, but did make the Capital tournament and losing to Christopher Newport in the tournament 19-5. But the Knights are without a couple of great players from the 2016 team, namely Zach Daneman and Peyton Kimber. They all went on missions, so 2 outstanding players from last year's team not available here in the 2017 season, but a lot of talented Knights are on the roster here in 2017.
Yeah, definitely, and a couple players to watch for the Guilford Quakers. Zach Berkowitz, number 4, he comes into this game having already scored 6 goals, as well as Aswan Bland. He's coming in with 4 goals. So a couple key players. Aswan Bland is number 21, and a couple of their leaders and captains on their team.
And when you look at the Knights, as we've talked about, we mentioned some of the players that performed very well in the Marymount 16-14 victory, and one of those, Casey Rich, had 4 goals in that game last Saturday. Last year, Casey actually had 49 goals in 16 games, and he has just been a heck of a player now for 2 seasons, this being his 3rd season. He's a junior, 6'2", 225-pound junior out of Buffalo, New York, number 22.
And that's so key to have a returning players. You have somebody who knows the program and who the rest of the guys can rally around. I know they look to Casey as their leader, and he's definitely started off the season pretty strong.
Quick note, by the way, for Knights fans, don't forget to stop by the new official Gear website while you watch our broadcast today, gear.svu.edu. It's your location for all official Southern Virginia University gear and also swag. And also want to make mention that the Southern Virginia University 5th Annual Night Run and Luau's coming up in April the 22nd. You go to svu.edu to register, and even if you can't be there to join us in person on the 22nd of April, there's an option to do a virtual run. It's all at svu.edu. You can register for this year's night run coming up April the 22nd. We are ready here for the opening face-off. Several changes this year, Seth, and one of those rule changes or rule emphasis is the face-offs, where they want to make sure each of the person involved in the face-off is actually going for the ball and maybe not trying to tie up the other person's cross. And it looks like Guilford almost came up with that opening draw. Logan Lunn, of course, was the Knight who was involved in that, and he is just a phenomenal season last year when it came to winning draws.
One thing to note, Guilford in their first 2 games have scored 10 goals in the opening quarter. They like to come out fast and strong, so that's definitely something for Southern Virginia University that they need to pay attention. Make sure they play some solid defense in this first quarter.
Yeah, Guilford's 1-1 of the season, losing their opener to Sewanee 10-6, then defeating Greensboro 15-8, and as we mentioned, the Knights 1-0, defeating Marymount 16-14 last Saturday. So right now, Guilford very patient on offense here in the opening period, their first possession, looking for a shot. Guilford works it close and gets a goal. 1 minute into the first period, goal scored by Guilford.
And as I mentioned before, they like to get out early and get those goals on the board in that first quarter. So let's see if Southern Virginia can bounce back and answer with a goal of their own.
That was Aswan Bland, I believe, getting the goal. And so just like that, the Quakers take a 1-0 lead. Knights were hoping to win their opener today and then go to another ODAX goal on Wednesday at Bridgewater. You know, that Capital opener at Marymount last Saturday, and after defeating Marymount on February the 18th last Saturday, their next Capital game will not be till March the 18th. So a lot of non-conference games are coming up over the next month or so before the Knights will get back into Capital play as they win this draw. Knights are trying to work it in close. Spencer Tunick running around the goal. 1-0 right now is your score with Guilford on top. And much like Guilford on their opening possession, the Knights are taking their time. This is Brady Cook. Cook is looking for an opening right now behind the goal. So we've played about 2.5 minutes right now with Guilford on top here, 1-0. Quakers working for an opening behind the Southern Virginia University goal right now. Shot and taken by the Quakers. Rolls away. Knights were looking to gain possession of the ball.
And, Jim, one thing to remember in lacrosse, when the ball goes out of bounds after a shot, the team that is closest to the ball as it goes out of bounds retains possession. That's why Guilford still has the ball.
And you can see this Guilford team, at least in this first period, very patient on offense, much like the Knights were when they were on their first possession. They go over to Devin Winbush, now back behind the goal again.
And I think you see as the best teams in lacrosse, they're very patient, like Guilford's doing. Sometimes the best defense you can have is a really good offense. As they retain that time of possession, they limit the opportunities for the Knights to score, and so that's definitely a philosophy you're seeing right now in their game plan.
Yeah, the Knights are in no hurry here, only trailing 1-0, trying to keep it close and trying right now just to get possession of the ball. Another shot taken by Guilford. Off the goal, rolls behind the goal. Still Guilford possession, though, with 10:35 to go here in the first quarter. We'll talk more about this throughout the contest, Seth, but I know another point of emphasis, we mentioned the face-offs and wanting to make sure the draws are done correctly, and also they're really trying to focus against the head contact with the head, like a lot of sports are. The other one we'll talk about is when or when not for the referees to maybe rule there is stalling.
Yeah, going back to the head contact, you can't be safe enough, as we've learned, especially you see it in football.
Yep.
And even soccer. Concussions are no joke.
Hard to imagine a sport where you don't really have that concern these days.
Yeah, anytime you're having a healthy competition, you're at risk for that. The goal is just to limit those the best we can and keep the guys safe so that they can compete and enjoy the sport they love.
Great play there by the Knights goalkeeper. That is Carson Franklin, 5'9" freshman out of Charlottesville, went to Western Albemarle High School. Knights trying to gain possession. Guilford, for a second there, looked like they might get it.
Ooh, big hit on the sideline there.
Yeah.
As Guilford.
Bangetter went down in our heap. Dan Bangetter, the freshman, losing possession to Guilford. You know, we talked about the stalling. Of course, once the referees rule that stalling is taking place, then you've got a 30-second shot clock. Until the ruling of a stalling is taking place, there is no shot clock. And this year they've really preached, as far as making sure there is no stalling taking place, that the team actually has to be running its offense with passes and cutting, or take an actual shot at the goal, or perhaps maybe some sort of risky play like a pass in front of the goal. If those are happening, the referees are not supposed to be calling stalling, but if they sense none of those things are happening, then they have the ability, not necessarily will, but they have the ability to call stalling, in which case the 30-second shot clock kicks in. That's more for really probably at the end of the game when you're ahead and trying to preserve a lead, as the Knights are able to make sure that shot doesn't get in.
Yeah, that was a good save right there by Carson Franklin, the Knights goalkeeper. Real good hand-eye coordination. If the Knights want to pull out the victory today, we're going to need some more saves like those.
So that means interesting to see this season how much more willing, I guess you could say, the referees are to rule that stalling is taking place and actually enact a 30-second shot clock.
And I think it's a really good rule. You see how big the field is, and you see right there with Guilford, they've been able to hold on to the ball for quite a bit. By having a shot clock, it'll speed the game up a little bit.
Long pass down there to Sean Lamb, but he kind of slipped on the turf, and as a result, the ball goes back over to Guilford. And I would imagine we might see that from time to time throughout this contest today. After all the rain we've had, in spots, the field's got to be a little slick right now.
Yeah, anytime it's been raining and things, that's something you have to take into account as an athlete out there. Keep your feet under you, keep good balance. But it should be fun to watch.
Coach Lamb may be talking about that long pass downfield, or at least a long pass attempt by the Knights.
One thing about this game that's pretty interesting, too, I think both these coaches have good experience Tom Carmine, the head coach for Guilford. This is his 7th season here. And, of course, Jason Lamb, the Southern Virginia head coach, comes from Notre Dame and has a long history of lacrosse coaching and experience. So it really could be a chess match out there to see how they defend and attack each other. I know it's real important for lacrosse. You're trying to space out that defense so you can get cutters down the lane. And I'm sure Jason Lamb, he's got to be a mastermind for those things with all his experience that he has.
And last year, again, the Knights went 6-10 on the season, and they did make the Capital Conference postseason tournament where they lost in the tournament to Christopher Newport 19-5. This season, in the Capital Men's Lacrosse preseason rankings, the Knights were 7 out of 9 teams, with Marymount and Wesley 8-9, and just ahead of Southern Virginia was St. Mary's at 6, Mary Washington 5, CNU 4, Frostburg 3, York 2, and of course no surprise here, Salisbury getting 7 first-place votes, and they were the preseason number 1. And both in men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse, just seems like every year the team to beat is Salisbury.
Yeah, that's always the one you, as a Southern Virginia Knight, I'm sure Jason Lamb and his team have circled that day that they take on Salisbury. We actually, I believe, take on Salisbury here at home, which will be a good game. Hopefully we can get a lot of fans out.
Saturday, March the 25th, I think it is. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get a lot of fans out, get a good home field advantage to make it a good game.
Although we were talking about this during the men's volleyball broadcast on earlier this week on Tuesday, is that if you're going to beat Salisbury and you had your choice between regular season and conference tournament, you probably want the conference tournament.
Oh, definitely. And I think the second time around, you generally have a better chance at that. So hopefully they'll play them tough, hopefully get a victory, but if not, they can take some notes and be ready to play them in the conference tournament.
And right now the Knights just trying to get some offense going here in this first period. They've only allowed 1 goal, but really haven't had the ball, as far as possession is concerned, too much for themselves here in this first quarter.
Again, that time of possession is key. You can't score if you don't have the ball, so hopefully they can force a turnover here and get things going the other way.
So we talked about Guilford in its first 2 games, had 21 goals. They are 1-1 of the season, but they really do seem content here in this first period at least to really sit on the ball, work around for a good opening. Knights trying to gain possession of the ball. Able to kick it, but not able to control it was Brady Cook. Knights able to grab it, scoop it up. So Franklin does the job there. And now we'll see if Southern Virginia can start controlling this ball a little bit more and get a shot on goal. And just like that, they turn it over. So it didn't take long for that ball to go back over to the Quakers.
Considering how much Guilford has possessed the ball this game, Southern Virginia, they're playing some very solid defense, but we'll see how long that can hold up. Again, the best defense you can have is a good offense, so hopefully they can get that going.
And it may well be that they're just trying to lull Southern Virginia to sleep on defense. Shot taken on goal, but it goes way off to the left side. Carson Franklin was the goalkeeper against Marymount last Saturday, allowed 14. But the Knights are able to hang on for a 16-14 victory. You can see Southern Virginia really packing it in defensively, with 2 or 3 defenders just within a couple of yards of the goal itself.
When you see them take the ball around behind the net, it's kind of like hockey. You're hoping for someone to cut and someone to be open over the middle to where they can pass it in and have an easy goal there. But well played by the Knights there. Another
save for the Knights. And now Brady Cook will try to go on offense as he works his way up into the attack area. So the Knights are able to get into the attack area. Colin Maxfield, 6'3", 180 pounds. See if the Knights can get a shot on goal here. They've yet to do so in this first quarter. Tried to ground that one in. Looks like Casey Rich will get to the ball first. Now they're going to signal the Quakers were closer, I guess, to the ball. Looked like Casey definitely had the inside track to it. So despite the lack of offense here, Seth, and the lack of shots on goal, still the Knights only trail by 1.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jason Lamb knows you can only play so much defense against a strong attack like Guilford. But that was a better possession for them. They got a shot off. Hopefully next time they'll be able to put it on net. They look like they're getting the ball back right here, possibly.
Whistle. It'll be Knights ball with 3:52 to go, first period. Another busy sports weekend here at Southern Virginia. Men's volleyball able to get a doubleheader sweep against Wilson yesterday. So they extend that big winning streak. And they've got 2 matches coming up this afternoon. We've got women's lacrosse on the road today at Hood. I believe also baseball single game after the Knights yesterday were able to split a doubleheader, split 2 games over at Hampton-Sydney. And I believe softball is also in action today as well.
And I'll tell you what, that men's volleyball team for their first inaugural season is about as impressive as you could be. I don't think you could have hoped for anything better. We've got a lot of good, hardworking guys, and obviously the coach over there has a lot of experience. Has really got them playing well right now.
I believe they were 2-4 at one point of the season. I believe they've upped that record out of 14-4 with 12 straight wins. And again, they're at Penn State Altoona today for a couple of different matches this afternoon. As the Knights were able to block that shot from outside, never really got to the goalkeeper. Good defense by Southern Virginia there, but the ball still being possessed here by the Quakers.
It should be a turnover.
All depends who got to the ball first, and I guess they're going to signal it's going to be Knights ball.
And these, I think, in any sport, you see at the end of quarters like this, the best teams close out very strong. Those hidden minutes, the last 2 or 3 minutes, is a chance to get a goal and really swing the momentum back to you going back into the second quarter. So hopefully the Knights take advantage of this moment and really take possession of that momentum.
And Sean Lamb with it right now. Got a penalty flag with 3 minutes to go.
There we go. Nice shot there by Spencer Tunick. Let's see if the goal stands.
That flag came just a few seconds earlier. Spencer Tunick last year, by the way, had 29 goals. One of the top goal scorers for the Knights. I believe 3rd on the team.
And it looks like that goal is going to stand, just like right on cue as we talked about those last hidden minutes of the quarter. The Knights see an opportunity and take advantage of it. It was great attack, great shot by Spencer Tunick there.
And now they'll try to win this face-off with Logan Lunn. And Logan Lunn, again, just a tremendous guy as far as the face-offs were concerned last year and this year. Just a second game of the season, of course, this year, as the draw this time will go to Guilford. So the Knights have evened it with 2:45 to go first quarter. Both these teams kind of really adjusting, Seth, to the slow moving as far as the score is concerned. First quarter, Knights scored 16 last week, and as you mentioned, Guilford's got a decent offense. So both teams are probably surprised, maybe the low-scoring first quarter we've been involved in.
Yeah, I imagine after giving up 14 goals in their first game, Coach Lamb was pounding that defensive philosophy in them in practice this week, and it appears to be paying off really well. 1 goal for Guilford when they've been averaging 5 in the first quarter up to this point.
Well, Guilford has really possessed the ball a lot more than the Knights, even though it's all even on the scoreboard, and that's the bottom line right there. Well, you know, you wonder kind of here, Seth, as the Guilford takes the shot. if Guilford, unless they really see a good opening, kind of like four corners in basketball, try to avoid any stall warning or shot clock and maybe try to play for the last shot of the period.
Yeah, I definitely think that's part of their thinking at the moment. They definitely don't want a turnover and have a fast break for the Knights.
Another good save there, though, by Franklin.
Yeah, and the Knights taking it the other way. Hopefully they can close this out with another goal.
Trying to get the numbers on the offensive end. They work it quickly into the offensive attack area. And take a shot and score. Did it go in? Apparently not. It looked like it went in, but apparently no goal was ruled. And Guilford's got possession with a minute 12 to go. Very close call there for the Knights. Not that far away, Seth maybe taking the lead there.
Yeah, those are the kind of opportunities you want to see. To win the game, you got to capitalize on them, though.
And so now Guilford's got an opportunity, and they've got a point-blank look. Timeout maybe on the field, let's see, with 49 seconds to go. Knights certainly don't want to allow any goals here in the last few seconds of this first period, so it looks like a timeout was called with 56 seconds to go in the first period.
And this is where you'll really see the coaching come into play, a chance to talk to your team. I know Coach Carmine for Guilford, he's going to be drawing up his best play, trying to get a goal here. And Coach Lamb, you can see him there. He's pounding it in him. We've got to hold tough. So this will be an exciting last minute of the first quarter.
And despite the lack of possession time and the lack of offense, Jason Lamb has got to at least feel pretty good about his defense here in the first quarter. So we'll see if the Knights can keep Guilford off the board in these final 56 seconds. We want to make mention again, Knights fans, don't forget to stop by the new official gear website here at Southern Virginia University, gear.svu.edu. It's your location for all the official Southern Virginia University gear. And also remember, April the 22nd, that's going to be the date for the Southern Virginia University 5th Annual Night Run and Luau. You can go to svu.edu to register for that event, which again is coming up on the 22nd of April.
Yeah, the night run should be really good this year. I know a couple of my teammates from the football team with that Polynesian culture and heritage, they're going to be performing or doing a few things at the ceremony, at the luau. So I'm excited to see that. I'll definitely be in attendance.
And probably eating some food, I would imagine.
Lots of food, definitely. That's what it's all about.
How are things looking in the offseason right now for the football team, you think?
Actually, they've been very, very positive. I know that we've had more guys turn out for spring football that we're in the middle right now than we've had in years.
People forget spring football. They focus on all the spring sports taking place and forget about spring football.
I'll tell you what, we've been working incredibly hard in the weight room and out on the field out here every night, going over the offense and defense, guys getting bigger and stronger. Coach Dupay doesn't give us any slack. He's putting us to work every single day, but it's good. We're really excited about the upcoming season in the fall.
Any big changes, either the way, I guess, the Knights operate offensively, defensively? I would imagine personnel changes. It's just a matter of new faces, freshmen coming in, and obviously a matter of who comes back and who's unavailable next season.
Yeah, the returning players is always big. I think right now we're just focusing on getting everything, perfecting our craft, and making sure that we know the offense in and out with our eyes closed. Same with the defense. But yeah, we're running it better than we ever have, and we're really excited about the things to come.
Pass off to the left side. No one there for Guilford. But Guilford the closest to the ball, so they still have it with 29 seconds to go. Guilford's done a pretty good job of that, having other people close to the loose ball, so they maintain possession. Knights right now just trying to make sure they don't allow a goal here at the close of this first quarter. Guilford's probably, if they maintain possession of the ball, might have one more shot at it. Time is starting to become a factor for them, though, with 10 seconds to go. They go way outside, knocked away by Franklin after the shot was taken by Connor Sweeney.
Knights have done a great job here. Let's see how they close it out.
And Guilford not able to get a shot away at the final few seconds. So We have come to the end of the first quarter. It's all even here. Southern Virginia won and Guilford won. Guilford really probably dominated as far as possessing the ball, as far as minutes and seconds in that first quarter there, Seth. But, again, all even on the scoreboard at 1.
Yeah, Coach Lamb has to be happy with how the quarter finished, at least from a defensive perspective. Guys were hustling and staying strong. I'm sure now the idea is we've got to get the ball and keep it in Guilford's zone for a while and give us some shot opportunities to take the lead.
And Guilford did a great job possessing the ball, keeping the ball away from the Knights offense. The Knights were able to get the 1 goal by Spencer Tunick. But, usually one of their more dominating offensive performers is Casey Rich, and you didn't really see or hear from him too much in that first quarter.
Well, and if Guilford has done their homework at all, which I'm sure they have, they know that Casey can be a real game changer on the lacrosse field, and so I'm sure they've game planned to try and shut him down. Hopefully he can get it going in this second quarter, and Coach Lamb knows that. I'm sure that he's going to do whatever it takes to get him involved and start getting him some more touches.
And you look ahead to March, upcoming games for this men's lacrosse team. They go to Bridgewater on Wednesday. Next Saturday, they'll be at Birmingham Southern, playing actually in Knoxville. And then on Wednesday the 8th, they are back home, taking on Merchant Marine. And on the 15th, they've got Hampton Sydney. And then they're back into Capital play on the 18th on the road at St. Mary's. And St. Mary's is a team that in the preseason rankings was just ahead of Southern Virginia. So the Knights last Saturday able to defeat Marymount, which in the preseason rankings were rated just below Southern Virginia. So their next Capital game will be against St. Mary's, a team that is rated preseason-wise just ahead of the Knights.
And the season, I couldn't have started better. That's their mission was to get victory game 1. And like you hear all the time, you got to take it one game at a time. They did that last Saturday. I'm sure, especially in conference play, that they're going to bring it. Give it all they got, and hopefully make a run at the conference title.
Yeah, strange schedule of the Knights opening up on the road in Capital play last Saturday against Marymount. Their next 2 conference games are road games. Their final game of the season is a road Capital game. And in between them, they've got 4 straight conference home games, starting with Salisbury on March the 25th and ending with York on the 8th of April. Logan Lund not able to get that opening draw of the second period, so Guilford will have possession here in a 1-1 game. Carson Franklin was very busy in that first quarter trying to stop a lot of Guilford shots, and the freshman goalkeeper did outstanding job for the Knights, making sure Guilford only got that 1 goal.
And over the last 2 games, Guilford in the second period, that's when their least amount of goals have come. They've only scored 3 goals this season in the second quarter. And so hopefully the Knights can take advantage of that. They take possession and hold on to it for a bit and limit Guilford's opportunities.
Greg Gowdy is trying to work it out of the defensive area up into the attack area. And, of course, teams have 30 seconds, I believe, to go from defense over to the attack area. Otherwise, they turn it over. And Guilford will get it on the Knights' turnover. And a point-blank shot score for Guilford. The Quakers get the goal. No stopping that shot by Zach Berkowitz, who had 6 goals in 2 games this season so far. He's their top goal scorer, and they just left him on the doorstep of the goal. There's Seth on the left-hand side as facing the goal is concerned, and not much that the goalkeeper Franklin could do about that shot.
And you see that goal was created by the turnover on the other end by the Knights. Like in any sport, turnovers are an absolute killer. You've got to take care of the ball. You got to make clean passes and run your offense how it is. Turnovers can just absolutely destroy your game plan.
It almost looked like that turnover was because the Knights were concerned about maybe not getting into the offensive area on time and maybe worried about turning it over because of the 30-second rule. Another face-off lost by the Knights. Kind of surprising. Logan Lund has been very good in that category over the last couple of years.
In lacrosse, a lot of times you'll see a face-off specialist, which Logan Lund has kind of become for the Knights. You really depend on him to gain possession. Not starting off the best for him early in this game, but he still has time, and he definitely can improve and give the rest of his team a shot.
So Guilford, just like when they scored the first goal, 1-0, and jumped on top, they kind of went into a little conservative, patient offense, and they're doing that again, trying to work it close. Knights trying to pick up the ball and get possession of it, but the Quakers are able to come away with it. Knights trying to make sure this one-goal lead does not become two. At the same time, trying to gain possession with 12:40 to go till halftime.
You see the Knights playing pretty disciplined defense right now. They're packing it in pretty good, not creating, giving them too many lanes to work with for Guilford. The more you pack it in, it gives it a harder lane to shoot from and harder to make your cuts in there. So good job by the Knights so far on defense.
Good centering pass, too, there by the Quakers. But Kiley, number 8, not able to get his shot into the goal. But still, the Quakers have it again, although Kiley not able to track down that pass. And the Knights are going to have possession of it as it's scooped up by Sean Lamb. But he was not able to maintain possession. But it looks like the Knights maybe will still get it. We'll see. Yep.
Sean Lamb, of course, he is Coach Lamb's son. He's a freshman this year. Really promising, comes from really good lacrosse bloodlines, of course. But I think he'll be a really good addition to the program as he grows and matures and learns to play at this level. He could be a really, really big asset to the team.
You see a few different families with more than one player out there, Lambs and the Riches, too. So the Knights go on the attack here in a 2-1 game where Guilford's got the lead. That's Casey Rich with it, number 22. Over to Tunick, number 7, who just had the only go so far. And Rich with a point-blank shot, but a great play by the goalkeeper for Guilford to bat that one away. That is Parker Stiles, the junior goalkeeper for the Guilford Quakers.
And he ripped that shot. There was a lot of sauce behind that one right there. Unfortunately, it hit the crossbar. I'm sure that goalie is happy it didn't hit him. Hopefully, we can see a few more of those, and they'll start hitting the back of the net.
Yeah, we talked about concussions and head contact, how that can be a concern in lacrosse. That ball hit you at that kind of speed is probably going to result in some pain as well.
I don't know if you've ever been pegged with a lacrosse ball before, Jim.
Don't want to either.
I certainly have in my high school days, goofing around with my friends.
As you can see, there's not a whole lot of padding. It's not like football.
No, you're pretty exposed out there. Doesn't feel good. You got to be tough. A lot tougher than I think people realize to play lacrosse. You're getting hit in the shins with the lacrosse stick. So yeah, it's live action out there. You got to keep your head on a swivel and make sure you're keeping yourself safe.
Yeah, when you see these guys running upfield with the ball and the slashing, the legal slashing, I'm assuming that is going on. Yeah, those little chops have got to really, maybe over the course of 4 quarters, got to leave some marks.
Yeah, definitely going to need probably a lot of these guys taking some ice baths after the game. That's for sure.
So the Knights right now in this timeout situation with 11:39 to go, trailing Guilford 2-1. The only goal of the game so far for the Knights delivered by Spencer Tunick, and really the Knights have not had that many shots on goal, and really have not possessed the ball effectively here in this first half. But still, they're only down 1.
And they've got to feel fortunate for where they're at. They're still in this game. Obviously, it's really early. It's only a 1-goal game, and for how little they've possessed the ball, they're in a great spot. So hopefully they'll capitalize here.
Knights have only had 1 shot on goal. Guilford's had 5. Knights had the ball. Rich is still trying to grab it behind the goal. Brings it out front. They're trying to go to Tunick on the right side. Instead, they go to Lamb, and he scores.
And right on cue, just as we were talking about Lamb a few moments ago, he's a young freshman. He's got a lot of lacrosse knowledge. He's grown up with his dad. I'm sure he knows the game really well. So really exciting to see the young freshman get involved and start making an impact.
I believe that's his 5th goal of the season. Sean Lamb with his 5th goal of the season. He had 4 last week. And much like Guilford's last goal, Lamb did a great job setting up on the right side, facing the goal, on the right side of the goal, and putting himself in great position.
This face-off will be big for Southern Virginia. Be great to get the ball and keep the momentum here.
And try to get their first lead of the game. Logan Lund with this draw for the Knights. And not able to win another draw, it looks like. But the ball is scooped up by the Knights, so they're going to have possession as long as they can grab it. It's dangerously in front of the goal. And thankfully, Franklin, the goalkeeper, able to scoop it up.
Yeah, Franklin there was a game saver. That could have turned bad for him. Good thing he was aware and was able to track the ball down.
Yeah, the last thing when you're trying to scramble for possession, you don't want it to keep going further and further in your own defensive zone towards the goal. That's the last thing I'm sure Coach Lamb wants to see.
Yeah, definitely. But a good save and got the ball back. Hopefully they'll keep possession here.
And now the Knights have a chance to go a little patient and conservative on offense, kind of work the ball around the perimeter, look for a good shot, and maybe grab their first lead of the game. This is Sean Lamb behind the goal. He floats to the middle and takes a shot. Don't think Guilford was expecting that. So the Quakers will take it back the other way. Working on the left side for the Quakers is Will Forrestal. His pass is batted away. It is scooped up by Mike Anderson for the Knights. Again, the Knights can take the lead here with a goal. Lamb's got it right now. Altitunik. Now they'll go over to Brady Cook on the left side. Cook works his way in close. Takes a shot, no good. And it looks like Guilford's going to be able to be closer to the ball for possession. Good effort there by Sean Lamb to dive at the last second, but to no avail.
That's the kind of effort you want to see, though. Those are the kind of effort plays that can really turn a game around when they start going your way.
Knights have 2 shots on goal. Guilford's got 5. Franklin's made 3 saves. The goalkeeper, though, for Guilford is yet to make a save. He's allowed 2 goals, just hasn't faced too many shots, and now Guilford is able to score its 3rd goal. And again, it is Zach Berkowitz, the 5'11 sophomore from New Jersey, who just picked up his 8th goal of the season and 2nd today.
And you're seeing an adjustment here by Guilford. Coach Carmine obviously realizing that slow pace was working to Southern Virginia's advantage. They're playing tight defense. They're packing it in. So we've seen kind of a more up-tempo pace where they're trying to get numbers and get the Knights spread out a little bit. To their avail, it's been working for them. Hopefully the Knights can make the counter adjustment and slow them down on that end.
And it's just when the Knights were looking to take their first lead, they actually had a couple of shots towards the goal in a 2-2 game, not able to score. And Logan Lund able to grab this face-off as he gets the pass back to Huntsman. Kevin Huntsman. Now upfield, the Knights will try to score to tie this game yet again, as the Knights have not been able to take a lead here in this first half against Guilford. They go right side to Lamb.
They've been working that offense through Lamb. It seems like they're trying to get him as many touches as they can. By doing that, hopefully it'll open up some stuff for Casey Rich, too. Give him some chances at the goal there.
And Lamb has tried that twice now, running from one side to the other, trying to go across the middle and fire a shot, but he's not been able to be successful with either shot. And so now Guilford, with 8:33 to go till halftime, has possession.
Pushing it again here.
Quickly, and a great save by Franklin, who gets knocked away as he got a little further away from the goal.
That was the 3rd time that Zach Berkowitz has had the ball that close, but I think Franklin knew what was coming and he was anticipating it there. That was a great save.
Gutsy play by Franklin, too, to take it that far out from the goal where he can actually be hit.
Looks like there's a flag down on the other end of the field.
A tight game here, Seth, and you wonder if Coach Lamb kind of expected this kind of a low-scoring first half.
Yeah, I think that probably took him by surprise, but he's got him playing hard, playing good defense. They need to slow down that offensive attack when they're trying to get those fast break opportunities. But all in all, I think Coach Lamb has to be pretty pleased with what's going on.
$7:48 to go here in this second period. Guilford has really been the team with the offense. 7 shots on goal now. 4 saves for Franklin, the goalkeeper for the Knights. Under 7 minutes to go. Guilford on top here 3-2, and the Knights trying to gain possession and maintain possession.
Looks like they've got an opportunity here. Ooh, good save by the Quaker goalie.
You know, the goalkeeper for Guilford has made a few good plays in this first half to allow the Quakers to hold on to this 1-goal lead with 6:30 to go till halftime. And now we're under the 6-minute mark. Knights still within hailing distance, only down by 1 here with now 5:50 left till halftime. Radically different game today here, Seth, than last Saturday on the road where we had 30 total goals in 4 quarters against Marymount. Here, nearing halftime, and just 5 total goals so far.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure that was a focus for Coach Lamb and his team this week in practice. I'm sure he wishes that there was a little more scoring on his end, but got to be happy with the defensive effort that they've put up to this point.
So Guilford able to grab that 4th goal and now take a 2-goal lead. So Guilford getting the goal from Nick Damiano, the senior. And now the Quakers, for the first time today, actually have a little bit of a cushion with a 2-goal lead with 5:28 to go until halftime.
And that was the 3rd goal for Nick Damiano this season for him. Might be heating up for the Quakers a little bit.
Guilford really dominating in several categories, now with a 2-goal lead, but they've really dominated when it comes to shots on goal. And we don't have the stats here, but certainly the time of possession. And Seth, if you're Southern Virginia and Jason Lamb, the only thing you're thinking about right now is really 2 things, I suppose, is don't allow that 5th goal and try to figure out a way to get possession and pick up your 3rd goal to try to get a little closer.
Yeah, and again, we're coming close to the end of the first half here, and those are the best teams capitalize. Like we said before, they capitalize in these final few minutes. It's important to have the momentum going into halftime so you can bring it back out for the second half. That would be huge for the Knights at this point. We'll see if they can get that ball in the net.
Clock starting to become a factor as the Knights have it in the offensive zone. And now Guilford's got it back. So just when the Knights were trying to pick up their third goal, they lose possession.
And the goalkeeper for the Quakers, Parker Stiles, number 9, he's having a really solid game to this point.
Another goal scored by the Quakers. This time it was Zach Berkowitz. I believe that is his third goal today, and it's his 9th goal now of the season in 2.5 games. So Berkowitz really having a great game today. The sophomore, 5'11", 195 pounds out of Rockaway, New Jersey. And for the first time today, Guilford's got a 3-goal lead, and the Knights suddenly are really looking at a little bit of a dilemma here, as we're under 4 minutes to go to halftime here, Seth, and the Knights now trail for the first time today by more than 2. They're down by 3.
And I think it's important that the Knights just get their momentum back, that they might be able to get a goal before half here. You've still got a lot of time in the game. Still run your offense. Don't get desperate. Do the things that you've practiced all week. When the offense works, it works. They've got plenty of time to get back in it this game.
Looks like Guilford's got 10 shots on goal. The Knights only have 4, though. How important you think, Seth, for the Knights to at least get 1, maybe cut this to a 2-goal deficit, and maybe even 2, and try to get it back down to 1-goal deficit before halftime, because you've only got 3 minutes to go.
And it's good to have something at halftime that you can hang your hat on. You want to see the effort by these guys play till the final whistle here at the half, because it really can change the whole outset of the game by finishing strong here.
That's got to be alarming, though, to Jason Lamb. Just when you're looking at this specific game, is the Knights just not able, at times throughout this first half, able to maintain or take, first of all, gain possession and then maintain possession of the ball.
Those turnovers, I'm sure, are something that Coach Lamb is not very happy with. It seems like whenever the Knights have touched the ball, if the ball's been on the ground a little bit, they haven't been able to possess it very well, and that'll just be killer as the Guilford can go back for a fast break on the other end.
And now the Knights have a chance here in the offensive zone to try to pick up their third goal if they can. That's Tunick with it outside. Well, the Knights really need this goal here before halftime to try to cut this lead for Guilford down to maybe 2 goals if at all possible.
Now would be a great time for Casey Rich to get his first goal of the game.
Tunick has a goal. Lamb's got a goal. Knights have 1:45 to work with. And they don't seem to be in any big hurry here, Seth. It looks like they know the importance of trying to get a goal to get this lead down to 2. That shot by Lamb, though, a wild shot. And the Knights were trying to get in position to maintain possession. It looks like they were able to do so. 1:33 on the clock. It was a good effort, too, by Tyler Drennan to get over there so the Knights could maintain possession.
Here you see Rich.
Fires a shot a little too high, though.
And you see, as soon as Rich touches the ball, the whole defense seems to attract to him and try to shut him down. It's almost like they're saying, we'll let other guys get their shots, but we're not going to let Rich have that impact on this game.
Closing on the 1-minute mark. Lamb takes a shot. And Lamb has just picked up his second goal. And the Knights have that all-important third goal to close to within 2 with 64 seconds to go till halftime. So Sean Lamb with a big goal there. That's his second today.
You know that makes Coach Lamb happy, his son stepping up and making a great play for the Knights just before halftime. Great momentum shift, and now it's time for Logan Lund to do his thing and keep that momentum.
I want to remind folks again about gear.svu.edu, your location for all official Southern Virginia University gear and website and equipment. And that's a fantastic website to visit anytime. And don't forget, April the 22nd, Southern Virginia University's 5th annual night run coming up on April the 22nd. Also includes that luau. For more information and to register, go to svu.edu. So we're down to 54 seconds to go to halftime, and the Knights trail here 5-3.
And even though they lost that face-off, they can still keep the momentum here by getting a good stop, possibly a turnover. Well, a turnover right there, just as I'm talking.
Yep.
So let's see if they can capitalize here. Watch for Lamb in the corner as he's done a couple times before. Let's see if he can get it here.
Would that be a shot on the arm for the Knights to score in the closing seconds of this first half to try to get it down to 1 after they had been down 5-2. Right now, currently 5-3.
And 37 seconds, that's more than enough time to operate and set up your offense the way you need it. We've got some good athletes on the team, some smart players out there who keep an eye on the clock and know how to run the offense. So hopefully they'll do their thing right here.
Timeout is taken by the Knights, and that's about the only downside I would imagine is the Knights' offense today has really been heavily dependent on Casey Rich, who's been hawked all day long, as you mentioned, and Sean Lamb. Even though Spencer Tunick does have a goal today, the Knights are looking to get some offense and maybe create some threats elsewhere.
And I would expect to see Casey Rich more involved coming out in the second half. There's only so many adjustments you can make on the fly during these timeouts and things. At halftime is where Coach Lamb will really do his chalk talk, and it really turns into a chess match for him to open it up and get Rich a few more touches. But, you know, it hasn't been terrible. They've been able to get Sean Lamb the ball. He's made the most of his opportunities. So I think that they should be feeling good right now, and they'll feel really good if they can put one more on the back of the net before halftime.
Yeah, Casey Rich had 4 goals in that 16-14 victory over Marymount, but really has been hard-pressed to possess or shoot the ball today. He's had a few shots, just nothing really of a momentous nature, and certainly no goals today so far for Casey Rich.
And he had that one that hit the top of the crossbar, that laser shot he put up. But nothing much since then. But whenever he touches the ball, he's a threat. And Guilford knows that. Southern Virginia knows that. And they just need to keep getting it to him.
Knights still have 35 seconds to work with coming out of this timeout. And not only do they have to find a way in the second half to get Casey Rich more involved, they also have to figure out a way to stop Berkowitz, who has 3 goals in this first half.
Yeah, fast break defense and getting back on the defensive end will be huge at halftime. An adjustment they might make, but it might just be an effort thing. Guys just need to get back in time, need to watch for Berkowitz because he's camping out right in front of the goal right there in that corner. Something they need to be aware of.
Let's see if the Knights can get that 4th goal before this second period ends. That's Tunick out front. Now they work it behind the goal, trying to find something in front. Pass in front. They try to go to Anderson. He scoops up the loose ball, but then throws it away. But the Knights are going to try to maintain possession, but it looks like Guilford's going to grab it with 14 seconds to go. So that was just a pass that was ill-advised and misdirected. And now Guilford's got a chance, and they score with 6 seconds to go. Somehow it was Connor Sweeney being forgotten about by the defense as the goalkeeper was concerned, on the left-hand side of the goal, and Guilford scores. Not the way that Coach Lamb was hoping this second period at the very end would work out.
And that was definitely a dagger to the Knights. They looked like they had an opportunity to pull within 1 goal there, and they gave it up on the defensive end. You see it's those fast break opportunities Guilford is really taking advantage of. The Knights are going to have to figure something out at halftime to slow them down.
A lot of Guilford's goals, at least 2, maybe 3, have come from that close in, either to the left or right-hand side of the goal. Logan Lund trying to gain possession of this draw. And the clock is going to run out. We are at halftime. So the Guilford Quakers with a bit of a little run here at the final few seconds, scoring their sixth goal with 6 seconds to go until halftime, Seth. And instead of the Knights maybe only being down 2, and if they were able to score a goal, maybe getting it to 1, suddenly the lead is back up to 3 at halftime for the Guilford Quakers.
And it definitely, like I said, it was a dagger to them. I'm sure that was the worst thing that could have happened to them in their minds. But there's definitely enough time. 3 goals in this game isn't too much for them to overcome. They just need to stay disciplined on the defensive end and start drawing up some different offensive attacks, possibly getting Rich involved. But I think Coach Lamb, you see him there on the sideline, he looks confident. He knows what his team is capable of. Hopefully they'll come out in the second half re-energized and confident that they can take back this lead.
So we are at halftime here in this men's lacrosse game between the Southern Virginia University Knights and the Guilford Quakers here at the fields at Southern Virginia University. Halftime score once again, Guilford 6 and Southern Virginia University 3. We'll take a break here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. Welcome back to the fields at Southern Virginia University. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined here by Seth Hansen as we bring you men's lacrosse action. Guilford is on top of Southern Virginia University here at halftime. Guilford on top here, leading 6-3. It was a 1-1 game at the end of one period, but Guilford was able to explode for 5 goals, Seth, in that second period, and they were led once again with 3 goals by the sophomore, Zach Berkowitz. He had 3 goals and ended up with 5 shots, and the 6 of the goals, again, half of the goals came from Berkowitz, the sophomore.
He'll definitely be someone to watch in the second half here. He's been camping out in that front left corner in front of the goalie. The Knights haven't been able to answer and shut him down yet. We'll see if they'll be able to in the second half here.
Shots by period, dominated by Guilford. They had 12 shots in the first period, 15 in the second, make that 27 total. The Knights just 2 shots in that first period, 10 in the second period, so they wound up the first half with 12 shots. But again, they were outshot in the first half 27-12, and you can see the domination by Guilford. They also won 6 faceoffs compared to the Knights just picking up 2 of the faceoffs.
Yeah, time of possession definitely been dominated by Guilford. The Knights got it going a little bit in the second period there, able to get off 10 shots like you said. Hopefully they'll keep that going. Hopefully they'll get some fast breaks here too, maybe create some mismatches in numbers on the defensive end. That's what Guilford has done, and it's definitely paid off for them.
Knights had 3 goals in that first half, 2 by Sean Lamb, 1 by Spencer Tunick. No goals, though, by Casey Rich, and he had 4 goals in the opener against Marymount last week, and of course he was their top goal scorer last year, so they're hoping to get Casey Rich going here in this second half of action. But the Knights try to grab the opening possession of this third period, and they luckily do so. So they've got possession now here, Seth, and we'll see if they can maintain possession without losing the ball, and if they can result in maybe a shot on goal and a goal itself.
Yeah, you see Guilford coming out physical, coming out aggressive as they force that turnover there. They need to, the Knights need to get back on D, stay packed in, stop giving up that opening front side of the net there. They're going to have to be more physical if they want to keep up in this game.
And now Guilford, we saw how deliberate they were, especially when you look at that first half, especially in the first period as opposed to the second period. And now that they've got a 3-goal lead, I don't know that necessarily they're going to go into a stall per se, but they're probably going to be more and more deliberate as this game goes deeper and deeper into the second half, especially if they are able to maintain that lead.
And Coach Carmine, he's experienced. He knows what he's doing. I'm sure he realizes that another goal here could really take the wind out of Southern Virginia's sails. And on the flip side, Coach Lamb knows he needs a turnover and needs to get a fast start.
Good block there by the goalkeeper, Franklin, to maintain this deficit at just 3. The last thing the Knights want to do in the second half, especially here in the third quarter, Seth, is go down by 4 or 5. Then the situation really becomes a little bit more desperate.
And they're not at a point here where they have to press or start doing anything too crazy. They just need to run their offense. They need to hold on to the ball first and foremost. That in turn will create opportunities to get some shots on the net. But run their offense. Coach Lamb has them running the offense well. They just need to capitalize at this point.
That's LaGarley with the ball out front. DeJarlis, number 17. You can see him top of the key, top of the position there, looking for maybe a pass off to the left or to the right. And now they'll go left over to Ryan Larson. Ryan, another one who has been a top offensive performer really for the Knights the last couple of years. Number 18, Larson with it. Looking to maybe do something from behind the goal now. Guilford just doing a great job shutting down the Knights' offense.
Delayed penalty here. It looks like it'll be on Guilford. Well, hopefully they can get a goal before that.
Trunick was trying to work himself in for a shot, but not able to do so. Boy, Guilford is really stepping up its physical play. Hefty slash right there, too. So now the penalty will come into play.
With that penalty on Guilford, might be an opportunity here for the Knights to capitalize.
Yeah, 6-3 deficit here in the third quarter is not alarming, but I guess once we get into the fourth quarter, especially maybe around the 5 or 6 minute mark, then a 3-goal deficit really becomes huge.
Yeah, ideally the Knights will take the lead sometime here in the third period, but if they can get within a goal by the end of the third, that would be huge going into the fourth.
Yeah, a good look at a shot there, but not able to get the shot was Ryan Larson. And so now Guilford's got possession again. Now the Quakers go from defense to the attack area, and quickly they move it to the left side and score again. This time on the left side, it was Derek Spalding, the junior, and again, just like a past performance, I believe that was number 35, Aaron Parrish, running the ball quickly into the attack area. And when he did so, the numbers really belonged to Guilford, and they were able to go to the left side of the goal over to, again, number 40, Derek Spalding, the junior, and he was able to get the goal.
Boy, that was like deja vu as well. That play, whatever they're running that scheme, it's worked for them 4 times now. It looks like they did switch it up. It wasn't Zach Berkowitz that time. They switched it up there. That might have played a factor in focusing on Berkowitz.
But you can see is that they really, when they bring the ball from the defensive area to the attack area, they do so quite often in a running manner where they get it up there as quickly as possible, and then they've got the numbers, and they do like to set up left or right of the goal. They make that one pass, and then it's suddenly a point-blank shot.
Yeah, again, that change of pace, they've gone from the first period up till now. They've really switched, attacking, being aggressive, and being fast, and that speed seems to be giving the Knights a problem up to this point as they try to figure it out here during this timeout. An adjustment's got to be made. They got to keep their head on the swivel and make sure they have all their guys accounted for.
Reminder, Knights fans, to stop at gear.svu.edu. It's your location for all official Southern Virginia University gear. And we're on a reminder, folks, about the Southern Virginia University 5th Annual Night Run and Luau coming up on April the 22nd. You can go to svu.edu to register. And even if you can't join us in person on the 22nd, there's an option to do a virtual run. Again, for more information and to register, go to svu.edu. So the Knights, with this timeout, a chance to talk over really a couple of things, trying to figure out a way to stop those point-blank shots for the Guilford Quakers so they don't fall further behind, but also trying to figure out a way to get their offense jump-started.
And this is where, in games like this, you're facing some adversity. You really look to your team leaders, your team captains. Casey Rich, we've mentioned his name a number of times today. Hopefully he gets it going. Sean Lamb as well has really made his presence known in today's game. I'm sure they'll be looking to their leaders to get them going. They need to get going as soon as they can.
And Logan Lund, they're trying to get him going to win more face-offs so the Knights can have possession of the ball. And that's been a struggle today for the Knights. Guilford Quakers, take your head off to them. They've been able to win a lot of face-offs and really dominate as far as time of possession and shots on goal. And they, again, here, Seth, really seemingly in the last couple of quarters have really stepped up their physical play to gain possession of the ball whenever possible.
Yeah, and that was a great hustle play there by Cabin Huntsman, number 14, to scoop up that loose ball. Very timely play made right there as the Knights really need something to get going on offense.
Shot is off the right side of the goal. But the Knights still have it. Sean Lamb again taking that shot. He's been the guy who's really been the dominant offensive performers for the Knights, as Casey Rich just has not been able to get on track, and you got to credit that Guilford defense because of that.
And you see Guilford right here, they're manning up on each guy, it looks like, not playing too much of a zone. They need to set some picks, some screens to open up some lanes.
Good pass to Lamb, but Lamb shot on goal that time right at the goalkeeper, Stiles, who was able to make the goal saving effort. And now quickly, Guilford back the other way. Doesn't take long for Guilford to go from defense to offense.
And Guilford looks like a really well-conditioned team. They don't seem to be getting too tired. In fact, they seem to be running harder, pressing harder each time they touch the ball.
This is one of many non-conference matchups involving the Capital Conference and the ODAC. In fact, the Knights will be playing another ODAC team on Wednesday on the road at Bridgewater. They still have Hampton City, an ODAC team, coming up at home on March the 15th. and Virginia Wesleyan, another ODAC team coming up on the road in April the 12th. So they will be facing several ODAC schools this year. Right now they're just trying to stop Guilford. Don't want to fall 5 behind.
Good defense there by Sean Lamb. He's doing it on both ends today, it looks like, offense and defensively.
You can see the defensive differences, the style of play, whereas Guilford really, as you mentioned, goes with that physical man-to-man attack defensively.
And it's worked for him pretty well so far. Good turnover there caused as the Knights are going the other way. They need to get going soon, need to take advantage of this.
That was Berkowitz, number 4, who lost the ball. One of the rare times that's happened today. See if Southern Virginia can get its 4th goal and try to climb back into this game, down by 4 right now. As you mentioned, Seth, the Knights don't have to really be in any hurry here, but if we advance this situation out into the 4th quarter with about 8 minutes to go and you're still down by 4, then it's going to be a completely different situation.
And it's all about taking advantage of your opportunities. You've got to capitalize to get back into this game. So while you don't have to do anything too pressing or too desperate, you do have to run your offense to a T and make sure you make the most of it.
Knights were trying to work it to the middle. Scramble for that loose ball. And it looks like Guilford's going to come away with it. Nope, they're going to say it's going to be, let's see, looks like it's going to be a Southern Virginia ball. Nope, Guilford's got it. So the Quakers have it. And I would imagine, Seth, as we get a little deeper in the 4th quarter, that Guilford's style of play, that conservative style, that slow-moving offense, might become even more slow-moving as they try to pass downfield. Knights had it, lost it, pick it up again. Retrieved by Jarlis.
Good work there by the Knights. Good effort to get the ball back. You see them picking up the tempo a little bit. I'm sure that's something Coach Lamb talked to him about at halftime.
Lamb, another shot on goal. Stopped by the goalkeeper for the Guilford Quakers. Sean Lamb's had some good looks at it, just can't get it to go. And now Guilford scores again. They go to that left side again, and again they go this time to Derek Spalding, who just picked up another goal.
And that seems to be their go-to, Guilford. Why change it if it's working so well? You don't need to change something that's not broken.
Well, whether it's Berkowitz or Spalding, they do love that left side of the goal as you're facing the goal. They've had at least 4, maybe 5 goals come from that area. And so the Knights, who at one point had climbed to within 5-3 after trailing 5-2, and that was a situation where in the closing minutes of the second period they got to within 2 and were hoping to make it a 1-goal game, but then gave up the 6th goal right before halftime with 6 seconds to go to halftime. And so far here in the 3rd period, Knights not able to score. Guilford's got 2 goals, both by Spalding. And the Quakers are back on the attack again. Now Guilford, with this big 5-goal lead, has got the opportunity here, if they want to try to work it around the perimeter until they get any kind of warning from the referees. But they could certainly kill a lot of time, especially if the situation is the way it is in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I imagine while they'll continue to try and keep scoring. Nice shot
Long
there.
Shot outside. Well, that's about 15 yards away. And that shot goes in from Aswan Bland. I believe he had a goal back in the first half, so he's picked up a couple of goals at least. And the Guilford offense is just rolling right now.
Yeah, everything they're doing is working for them at the moment. Southern Virginia, they need to hold on to the ball a little more, really need to start getting these face-offs to hopefully turn the game around a little bit. It'd be nice for Southern Virginia to get the ball on net, be able to hang their hat on something in this 3rd period as they go into the 4th.
Yeah, if the Knights are thinking about trying to make a comeback and win this game, it's going to have to start here in the next couple of minutes. They don't want to go into the 4th period down by 6 or 7 goals. But the face-off is won by Guilford. That shot is just off, taken by Bryce Craig, freshman for Guilford. Probably a learning experience, too, for, again, Carson Franklin, the freshman goalkeeper for the Knights. He stopped some shots last week, gave up 14 goals, but the Knights were able to outscore Marymount 16-14 today. He has really been besieged by this Guilford offense.
And anytime you have some true freshmen playing significant time, especially Franklin being in the goal all game, you're going to have some bumps and bruises. You're going to have some growing pains. It's going to be a good learning experience for him. Hopefully these type of games aren't too prevalent. They're not too common. And he still has some time to turn it around and get some stops to build his confidence some more.
Knights are able to take it away from Guilford, so the Knights have it, down by 6. Trying to work it upfield into the attack area. Pass off the stick of Anderson. Turnover by the Knights, as Mike Anderson couldn't handle that pass by Brady Cook. Got to be a frustrating day today for Jason Lamb. Non-conference action, not like the important conference game, of course, last Saturday against Marymount, but the team against Marymount was able to grab the lead and hold on to it in the fourth period and win that game 16-14. Today, they have really struggled with the offense.
And it looks like today some of the fundamentals have been lacking. Just holding on to the ball, catching the ball has really been their Achilles heel for today. Something that they can work on and focus on as they move forward in this game and the rest of the season. Something they can definitely improve on.
Well, they're really dominating. If you look at the scoreboard, Seth, the shots on goal now, as Guilford is just dominated in that category all day long. And now the Knights will try to work it across with Tyler Drennan getting it into the attack area. Knights desperately need a goal here, down by 6 with 4:30 to go in the third period. This is Lamb out front. Now to Tunick, who's got a goal today. Lamb's got 2, Tunick's got 1, and that is it for the Knights. See Casey Rich, number 22, right in the middle, but he has really been shadowed all day long by these Quakers. Anderson will take a shot, and it is blocked away by the goalkeeper for the Quakers, and just like that, they're off and running to the offensive end.
And Stiles in the net for the Quakers has had an exceptional game, really causing fits for the Knights.
Point-blank shot hits the pipe. Almost a goal for the Quakers, but it hit the bar, and now the Knights are trying to hold on to it. This is Lamb with it. Knights have some numbers here. Lamb takes a jarring shot, and then a smash, too, from the cross of the Guilford player. I believe that was number 18, David Philippe. Boy, Lamb really took some physical punishment that time.
Yeah, that was a questionable move there. Looked like a slash to the neck and head area.
When he was down on the ground.
Yeah, that was pretty questionable, and understandably so. The Knights sideline was pretty upset with that. It did look like number 18 came up, though, kind of in an apologetic way that wasn't his intent. So hopefully, some clean play. We get back to the game that tempers won't be flaring too much.
All I can think of is he was maybe saw a chance to jar the ball loose while Lamb was on the ground. Knights have the numbers after that penalty. We'll see if they can take advantage and score here. Into Lamb. He tried to go through a couple of defenders, though, and not able to do so. That's tough, though, Seth, trying to work your way through that many defensive players.
And anytime he works his way in that close, he knows his putting his body on the line. That's a good team kind of play there. He's trying to sacrifice to get that goal. He's definitely taken his fair share of hits this game.
Tunick's got it on the right side. Knights trying to get that fourth goal here. Shot across is knocked away. And the Quakers are going to have it. So really two things have dominated performance for Guilford today, Seth, is their ability to camp out, especially on the left side of the goal as you face it, and, as you mentioned earlier, their goalkeeper has been tremendous.
Yeah, they've got things working for them on both ends here. It's really been a complete game offensive and defensively for the Quakers. The Knights just haven't been able to had any answers for what Quakers been throwing at them.
And now the Quakers are really in the driver's seat here with a 6-goal lead, able to dictate when they've got the ball just how this game is going to go as to how aggressive they're going to be seeking a goal. And right now they know they don't need too many more goals. They've got a 6-goal lead, but they worked themselves close for a shot, and it's blocked away. Shot taken by Oswan Bland. Good block there by the goalkeeper, Franklin. It's been another impressive performance by Guilford as they take the shot, is their ability after shots and with loose balls to find a way to gain possession.
Yeah, you don't see Guilford putting the ball on the ground very much. They are clean with their passes. They're able to hold on to the ball. And on the flip side, when Southern Virginia puts the ball on the ground, they're able to scoop it up really quick before the Knights have a chance to grab it.
Looks like we're going to have a penalty here. And right out front, a ground ball effort by Berkowitz, and unsuccessful. Interesting, too, in this, at least it appeared to me in the second half, that Berkowitz, who was doing a lot of camping out on the left side of the goal, has been more out front, and they've used Spalding on that left side.
Spalding has shown he's been quite effective, too. The more guys that Guilford has, I'm sure that pleases them, guys who can make an impact. I'm sure that's a big part of why they've got Spalding out in front of the net.
I know the purpose of the non-conference, Seth, is really not just for the Knights here in the Capital Conference, but for Guilford and the ODAC, is just to kind of feel your way. You want to get victories, obviously, but the important games for the Knights will be those Capital Conference games, and they won't have another one of those conference games until March 18th against St. Mary's.
And I'm sure Coach Lamb will take. That was a great shot there.
That was, again, Oswan Bland. I believe that is his third goal today. So you got Spalding and Bland and Berkowitz doing a lot of the damage.
They certainly are. As I was going to mention, I'm sure Coach Lamb will take a lot of good film away from this game to see where some of their weaknesses might have been and where they can improve. Like you mentioned, a non-conference game, while you want to get a victory, you need to be ready as soon as you go into conference play, which is why last week was such a big victory. It's good to be 1-0 in conference. But they do need to turn it around and clean up some of the mistakes they've made.
Yeah, I'm thinking the opposition, the other teams in the Capital Conference, might want to get a look at this film just to figure out a way to stop Casey Rich, because Guilford has been extremely successful in stopping Rich, who had 4 goals last week and not able to get a goal so far today.
And I'm sure you'll definitely see some of the other teams within the conference taking a look at this.
Because you see Rich over there on the left side, number 22, and he's just really not – he's had a couple of good looks. He's had a couple of good shots on goal, including the one you mentioned that hit the bar back in the first half, but really few and far between as far as his involvement in the offense. And now Guilford, with that 7-goal lead, back on the attack again. I imagine we'll see a lot of this in the fourth quarter, Seth, where Guilford really pulls it out and just tries to run clock whenever possible.
And you see them here, they look like they're trying to hold for a final shot.
That one off the bar. Picked up by Colin Maxfield. 13 seconds to go. Not sure the Knights are going to be able to get it that far upfield for a shot. They're trying. 5 seconds. It passed to the left side. The pass is dropped by, I believe, Spencer Tunick. He had a chance if he catches that cleanly from the left side. It would have been a tough angle, but maybe a chance there to get that 4th goal, but just not able to hang on to the pass.
Yeah, that was unfortunate that he dropped the ball there. It looked like he had an open look at the goal, hopefully to get it past Styles. But going into the fourth quarter here, what you really want to see is the Knights coming out and playing hard. I'm sure Coach Lamb is telling them not to be looking at the scoreboard right now. If they want to get back into it, they need to play the lacrosse that they know how to play. Get back to the fundamentals, look for the open passes, and keep playing strong defense, or start playing stronger defense. And even if the scoreboard doesn't reflect how they wish it would, you can definitely hang your hat on some things if they can make some progress in the fourth quarter here.
But that was not a third quarter that Jason Lamb's got to be pleased with, as the Knights were outscored, I believe, 4-0 in that third quarter. A quarter really dominated by the Guilford Quakers. It was 6-3 at halftime, now 10-3, so a 4-0 run in that third period for the Guilford Quakers.
And on the flip side, that quarter couldn't have gone any better for Coach Carmian and the Quakers. They played fast, they played physical. Their shots were on target, basically everything you could have hoped for. And I'm sure he'll be preaching that going into the fourth. Like you mentioned, though, I expect him to slow down the offense a little bit, continue to maintain the time of possession, and keep the ball away from the Southern Virginia Knights.
Reminder, Knights fans, don't forget to stop by the new official Gear website. That is gear.svu.edu, your location for all official Southern Virginia University gear. And don't forget, Southern Virginia University's 5th annual night run and luau, April the 22nd. You can go to svu.edu to register. And we can also tell you about what's coming up in the coming week as far as our university athletic webcast. We've got Southern Virginia women's softball coming up Wednesday at 4 p.m., I believe it is. A doubleheader. We'll have the first game for you. And then Thursday, 7 o'clock, we've got men's volleyball against Liberty. And then I believe next Saturday, women's lacrosse here from the fields at Southern Virginia University.
It's definitely a good time of the year to be a Knight and a fan of Knight athletics. Got a lot of exciting things going on, again, with that men's volleyball win streak right now. They're just cruising. It's be fun to see how they finish out the season.
Yeah, they've got a doubleheader, 2 matches, I believe, coming up today at Penn State Altoona. In women's lacrosse action today, it was Hood over Southern Virginia, final there 12-8. So the Knights losing on the road, and I believe they are 0-3 to start the season. Women's softball is in action today against Guilford. Men's baseball has one game coming up today at Hampden City against Stevenson. They split at Hampden Sydney yesterday. Knights trailing 10-3 here in this fourth period, trying to get their offense jump-started. I don't know what's been more impressive here, Seth. Is it the Guilford offense, where they've had three individuals, Bland, Spalding, and Berkowitz doing a lot of the damage, or it's their defense. They're really physical, man-to-man defense, not to mention their goalkeeper.
Yeah, I would think if you're going to give somebody an MVP on the defensive end, it would have to be Stiles in the net. He's pretty much been a stone wall for them. There we go.
There. That's Lamb. Oh, let's see. Did they get the goal? It looked like it went in, but it apparently went out.
Okay. Yeah,
I think that was Anderson, actually, who almost got it, but not able to get the goal. Good effort there, though, by Mike Anderson, the junior, 6'1", 200 pounds from Salt Lake City.
And that was a huge hit by Casey Rich there out on the goalie, who'd brought it all the way out to the halfway point of the field, it looked like.
Do have a penalty flag down.
Yeah, I don't think the refs thought that was a legal hit there.
Knights have got to feel some frustration, especially Casey Rich.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. Sometimes those kind of hits are tone setters and can really change the mentality of your team. I'm sure that's probably what he was thinking when he went in to deliver that blow.
And with the delayed penalty, Guilford here, chance to maybe Bland shooting and scoring again. Boy, what a second half he has had. Number 21, Aswan Bland, 5'9", 190-pound junior from Georgia. And in the first half, it was the sophomore Berkowitz with 3 goals. Here in the second half, it has really been number 40, Derek Spalding, the junior, and number 21, Aswan Bland, another junior.
Yeah, Bland has been automatic the last few times he's touched the ball. And that's what happens when you have a couple guys on the offense who can score. You start paying attention to one, and the other sneaks up on you and starts making an impact on the game, as Bland has done in the second half.
So Guilford, they had a 5-2 lead in the first period. The Knights were able to score to make it 5-3, and they were hoping to add to that right before the end of the second period. But since then now, it's been 6 straight goals now by the Guilford Quakers. This is another area of the game where the Quakers have dominated, Seth, and that's winning faceoffs.
Yeah, you can't possess the ball if you can't win the faceoff, and you're not getting turnovers. They really need Logan Lund to come up big right here.
And that's number 2, Alex Ramey for Guilford, a sophomore who's been successful today. And it looks like Guilford's going to win another draw as Ramey comes away with it. It'll be interesting to see based on what we've seen today. And Guilford came in in their second game defeating Greensboro, but losing to Sewanee in their opener. It'll be interesting to see how far this team goes and what kind of conference schedule they have in the ODAC this season.
Well, I tell you, if they play like this the rest of the season, they're probably going to do very well in the ODAC. Coach Carmian's got to be pleased with his team thus far.
Another new goalie in there for the Knights right now. That's Ian Arave. Arave is a 5'10", 180-pound sophomore out of Cypress, Texas. So they'll give him some chances here in the fourth quarter to face this Guilford offense. And Guilford scores again from out front. I believe that was Charlie Kiley, a sophomore from McLean, Virginia. And from way out front, he shot that one in.
Yeah, that was pretty deep right there. He had a lot of juice behind that and found the back of the net. Hopefully Ian Arave, he can get his feet wet, get a little more experience, knowing what it feels like to be in goal. Not the best start for him, but there's some time here to get more experience and to up the game a little bit.
Yeah, Arave has played goal, I believe, last season. He split goalkeeping time with another of the Lamb boys in Derek Lamb. Arave was basically the part-time goalkeeper last season. And now he's getting a chance to get some playing time here in the fourth period with the Knights now trailing by their biggest deficit yet today, 9 goals. And coming away with it again are the Quakers. Well, it had been a close game in the first half with the Knights at one point only down 5-3, has really become a blowout victory here in the second half for Guilford as the Knights have not been able to score in the second half, and Guilford has just simply dominated. Not the kind of second half that Coach Jason Lamb was hoping for his Knights, but you got to take your hat off to really the Guilford Quakers. They just played a heck of a game today.
Yeah, fundamentally sound, and like we talked about, taking advantage of all the opportunities that they've had.
And if you're the Knights, still got 11 minutes to go, but you're down by 9, maybe not thinking so much about the big comeback victory today as just trying to get the ship in order and get ready for Bridgewater on Wednesday on the road.
Yeah, with Coach Lamb's experience, he understands it's about the big picture, that he can't get too caught up with how today has gone. What he wants to see is his team run the offense, play solid defense, and have things that they can build on going forward.
Two different teams, obviously, Marymount and Guilford, but after scoring 16 on the road at Marymount, I would imagine a lot of Knights fans, and maybe Coach Lamb will be surprised that conceivably they'll be under 5 goals today. Takedown, and we've got penalty flags.
And that looked like number 4, the senior, Greg Gowdy, being pretty physical, maybe a little too physical up in the head area there. No doubt taking out some frustration on the Guilford attack.
That was taken out also on number 21, Aswan Bland, who's just been a dominant performer, especially in the second half for Guilford. Into the game now for the Knights. Another of those Rich boys, Caleb Rich. He's a 6'3" freshman from Buffalo, New York. Also have Casey Rich out there from Buffalo. So it's got to be a frustrating day, though, for Casey Rich. Just a tremendous season last year. The season before that, when he was a freshman, he had 4 goals at Marymount. And he's really had 2 or 3 good looks at the goal with the shots today.
And Casey Rich, he's an experienced player. I'm sure that this wasn't how he wanted it to go, but I fully expect him to use this as motivation going forward in the season to work harder, to make more of an impact going forward, and helping his team win some more games.
Wouldn't be the first time, I would imagine, that he has faced a tough man-to-man defense, especially a defense that shadows him. And he's dealt with this before, I'm sure, so the Knights will try to figure out a way. As Guilford scores again, Knights will try to figure out a way to overcome this. But, yeah, it was Zach Berkowitz. I believe that is his 4th goal today, at least. I believe that is 4 goals today for Berkowitz, maybe his first of the second half. He had 3 in the first half.
Yeah, that puts 10 goals on the season for Zach Berkowitz. Can't imagine the season starting off any better for him than it has. He's got to be very pleased with how it's gone so far.
Didn't expect this in the second half when it was 6-3 at halftime. The Knights really battled, and especially in that second period, and you were expecting the Knights to really keep this close in the second half and maybe make a run to try to actually take the lead, which they never could get the lead today. But here in the second half, it's been all Guilford. They have now outscored the Knights 7-0.
You'll see Sean Lamb take the face-off here. He's been one of the few bright spots for the Knights. As a freshman, he's played pretty well. I'm sure there are things that he'd like to improve on, but we'll look to him to see if he can get some offense going here.
And he was able to win that draw. Lamb's got 2 goals today. Tunick had the Knights' first goal, and Lamb has had the last 2, but the Knights have not been able to score at all here in the second half. And you can see on the scoreboard how dominant the shots on goal category is. 20 shots on goal now for the Quakers. Tunick way out front. Works his way to the middle. Nice pass.
And again,
physical play by that Guilford defense.
Again, you see Guilford wasting no time swarming to the ball and making sure that ball doesn't stay in the middle there.
Yeah, they're not afraid of laying a hit on you, too, to jar that ball loose as Rich loses the ball. Casey, to his credit, get it back momentarily, but now Guilford's got it again. And the Quakers quickly get it from defense into the attack area.
That was good hustle there. Good hustle defense by number 44, Tyler Drennan, the freshman out of Fairmont, West Virginia.
Pass gets away right in the middle of the goal, and the Knights are able to lay a hit there to jar the ball loose. I think that might have been Sean Takala that was able to lay the big hit. Otherwise, that ball momentarily got away from the Knights. Seth went right to a Quaker who was smack dab in front of the goal for a point-blank shot, but the Knights were able to jar that ball loose.
And thankfully, they were able to get that back. The last thing they want to do is give up another goal here.
Well, the Quakers really are a physical team. Jarring hits, not afraid to use their crosses. Lamb trying to challenge the goalie, but Guilford brings it upfield now. And the Quakers are again near the Southern Virginia goal.
You can see the Quaker coaches on the sideline there motioning to their players to slow it down, hold on to the ball, and try and run this clock out some.
Nice pass in the middle, but a good defensive play there by the Knights. Looked like that was Colin Maxfield, but now we got a flag. Don't forget, we've got softball coming up Wednesday, followed by men's volleyball on Thursday. And women's lacrosse coming up next Saturday. Men's volleyball taking on Liberty next Thursday night at 7 o'clock. It'll be the next to last home match for the Knights. And they'll try to continue their winning streak today. And if they are able to continue with a couple of match victories, Seth, on the road to Pennsylvania Altoona today, then hopefully the winning streak will be intact next Thursday night, and they'll get another home match victory.
And if you haven't been to a men's volleyball home game this season, you need to get out. The environment is incredible. The fans are great, bringing the energy. And it's just something that you'll really want to be a part of.
It rivals the electricity in the night sports arena when it comes to basketball, too.
Definitely, and it's kind of an advantage, I think. The Knights Arena may be a little smaller than some of the other opponents they have, but because it's so small, you really feel like the crowd is on top of you.
And sometimes it is.
Yeah, sometimes it is. You can feel that energy.
Another goal by Guilford. Yeah, I don't know, were you there the other night where one of the players, I believe for Bluefield, actually went into the row of seats to try to retrieve a ball?
Oh, yeah, you got to keep your head on the swivel even if you're in the crowd in Knights Arena.
So Guilford scores again, makes it 14-3, and now it is an 8-0 advantage for Guilford here in the second half. Dominating second half performance by the Quakers. Get our first look at women's softball coming up next Wednesday. They'll have a doubleheader coming up on Wednesday. We'll webcast one of those games for you, and then next Saturday we'll get our first home game of the 2017 season for the women's lacrosse team. And Zoe Bradshaw has been one of the early offensive leaders for the women's lacrosse team. The Southern Virginia women losing today in women's lacrosse action on the road at Hood, 12-8. I mean, of course, Zoe Bradshaw has been a long-time women's lacrosse member. Shot taken by, that was Brady Cook. Not able to get it to go. 14-3. Under 6 minutes to go. Knights just trying to get their first goal of the second half. And here's Casey Rich behind the goal. Nice pass to Lamb. But the ball is jarred loose. I can't imagine a more frustrating day, though, for Casey Rich in his 3-year career, this being his junior season. I'm sure, Seth, that he has had moments where he's been hawked by the defense. But the Knights are able to get their fourth goal. And I believe that was Brady Cook.
And that's what Coach Lamb has been waiting for all game, I'm sure. Good movement, good passing the ball around, swinging the ball around. Styles, one of the few goals he's given up. He's been a stone wall for them today. But good to see the Knights still playing hard, playing to the final whistle, and get a goal there, see if they can do it again here and keep that momentum going.
So the Knights again have their first goal of the second half. And now down 14-4 with 5:25 to go. Logan Lund back out there for this face-off, and he wins the draw, quickly gets it over to Tunick.
And that looked like his best face-off of the day.
Not only winning it, but immediately getting into the offensive area. They go to Lamb on the right side. He works his way close. Shoots off the goalkeeper and retrieved by Guilford. Good look, though, by Lamb that time.
Lamb looks like a good athlete. He's able to get his way in there. I'm sure that'll be something that they'll continue to press and give him the ball down that close to the net as the season goes forward.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how this Guilford season unfolds in the ODAC because between some of the players that we've seen today, like Berkowitz and Bland and Spalding, and then as you mentioned, their fantastic goalkeeper, Parker Stiles, be curious to see how this team goes and fares in the ODAC this season.
Yeah, they've certainly today played a very complete game on both ends. It helps when you have a great goalie in the net.
That helps the goalkeeper, obviously, when as Guilford was able to take a 3-goal lead into halftime and then just keep building upon that lead.
And as a goalie, when your team has the lead, you tend to play more relaxed, more confident. You don't feel that pressure on you as much. I'm sure that's definitely played a factor in him. He can just play loose today and do what he does best. Not
the same situation, though, for the freshman goalkeeper Carson Franklin for Southern Virginia. He was under siege, really, especially in that second period. It was a 1-1 game at the end of one, and then the second period, Guilford really stepped up its offense, and that continued into the second half.
And Franklin showed some really good things today. He had some great saves. But as Guilford has dominated the time of possession, when you're in the net like that, you can only do so much when you're taking that many shots your way.
And Arve right now here in the fourth period is the goalkeeper for the Knights after Franklin served as the goalkeeper for the first three quarters. You can see Guilford really kind of slowing up their offense now, working the clock a little bit. This is Bland outside with it.
That shot clock is almost about to expire.
Not a huge factor, of course, when you're up on the other opposition by 10 goals. But that number 21 Bland coming off the field is just a tremendous athlete. He's had several goals in the second half. He's a 5'9", 190-pound junior out of Georgia. Not an easy task for Jason Lamb to figure out how to maybe stop Guilford or offenses like Guilford from really posting up that close to the goal and trying to free up on your offensive end, trying to free up Casey Rich.
And I don't think this defensive performance is as much on the defense as it is the offense needs to stop turning the ball over. If they'd been able to hold on to it longer, I'm sure this score would have looked very different today.
That was number 11, Giroux, bringing it up. Kieran Giroux getting it into the offensive area for the Knights, who are trying to pick up their fifth goal before this game ends. Sean Lamb getting up slowly after Guilford able to take the ball back. Good crowd on hand. Saw a lot of Guilford fans gathering at the field before the game today as well. And for those Guilford faithful that made the trip here from North Carolina, they have really seen an impressive performance by their team, the Quakers. Now it looks like the Quakers are really kind of going into some sort of freeze offense, just trying to run the clock here. Number 3, Brady Cook, was trying to jar the ball loose to get it back for the offense for the Knights. Knights would love to find a way to get that ball back, so they want to try to score before this game's over, but clock is ticking down almost to the 60-second mark. Maxfield trying to draw it loose. Doesn't appear, Seth, that Guilford's really any hurry to give up possession here.
No, and with the 10-goal lead, I'm sure they're not trying to run up the score either. They're kind of just, like you mentioned, just running the clock, hoping that the game will end this way.
Knights able to jar it loose with 25 seconds to go. So again, a reminder, we've got softball coming up on Wednesday. Doubleheader. We'll have the first game for you, webcast, and then Thursday, 7 o'clock, we've got men's volleyball against Liberty, and next Saturday at 1 o'clock from this very same field at the fields at Southern Virginia University, we will have women's lacrosse action for you. Busy week coming up next week. As far as Southern Virginia University men's lacrosse action, their next ball game will be at Bridgewater coming up on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. And then next Saturday, they'll be taking on Birmingham Southern in Knoxville, Tennessee. So they're on the road for their next two games. As we're down close to the 10-second mark left in this one. Good stop there by Arave. And looks like that is going to wrap it up. Convincing performance today by the Guilford Quakers as they defeat Southern Virginia 14-4. And Seth, they outscore the Knights in the second half 8-1.
Yeah, certainly not what Coach Lamb was hoping for today. I think he knows that his team is much better than they showed, and he's hoping to put that performance out on the field for the coming weeks, that they might hit their potential and play more like they did last week against Marymount as they go forward.
And as far as Jason Lamb is concerned, what are some of the things you think the Knights will have to work on? I know they would love to find a way to get Casey Rich more involved, and hopefully this is just a one-game aberration as far as the defense just doing a great job clamping down on Casey today.
You know, I think there's so much in sports. You would think that coaches go in and they try to come up with a master game plan, but I expect Coach Lamb to take his team this week and really get back to the basics, clean passes, holding on to the ball, making the right passes. I don't think they have to do anything extraordinary going forward. They just need to play how they have played in the past and what they're capable of. It certainly was kind of on the sloppy end for them, and I think that'll be his focus going forward.
So a convincing performance today by the Guilford Quakers. They improved to 2-1 on the season. Guilford 2-1 on the season after defeating Southern Virginia 14-4. The Knights now drop to 1-1 of the season. They'll be playing at Bridgewater this coming Wednesday. That'll wrap things up here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. Final score again today. It was Guilford 14 and Southern Virginia University 4. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Seth Hansen, Josh Adams, and all of our production staff here at Southern Virginia University. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for Knights men's lacrosse action. Have a great day.